After the conviction of Jim Johnson for being on so-called public property, one juror was kind enough to share his thoughts. Thank you to Juror Jim for helping shine light on things that can be improved next time.
What's your name?
My name's Jim.
Hi, Jim. I'm Ian.
And I assume that you're sort of affiliated with the defendant in the case?
Yes, sir.
Is that right? Yeah. Okay. I only got a few minutes, but
sure.
I'm happy.
Two's fine. What happened in there?
In the jury?
Yeah.
So we were 8-4 on Friday. And
8-4?
Yeah.
8 for guilty,
yeah,
4 against?
And then on the weekend, some people changed their mind, and we went to unanimous pretty quickly in the morning.
Did they explain why that they changed their mind?
Well, I think people were hung up on the personally thing.
On the personally?
Yeah, that wasn't my personal concern, but a lot of people were hung up on because personally can mean one-on-one, but in this context it probably didn't. I think people thought that by the letter of the law he was guilty.
Did anyone take the jury nullification information into factor? Did you receive that information?
It wasn't discussed. I actually didn't read that pamphlet, but I've heard about it. I've read about it, and I didn't read it. I typically think of jury nullification as coming into play when we believe that there's an unjust law. You know, for example, for marijuana possession or something like that.
Okay.
You just think it's bullshit. Pardon me.
That's okay. So marijuana possession, you would have found, like if it were a marijuana case,
I very well may have,
guilty.
For example.
But walking around the jail, that felt like.
Well,
wrong.
yeah, I thought the trespassing law itself was a just law, but believe me, I gave a lot of thought to this. I don't think he should have been arrested in the first place, to be perfectly honest with you. But when you look at the letter of the law, I do believe that the officer at the prison communicated the order to leave personally, and that order was violated. So by letter of the law, he was guilty, and I was.
Were you one of the holdouts?
Excuse me. No, I was not. But I was a bit torn on the issue, for sure, and I would have been feeling a whole lot worse right now if he got an actual jail sentence. That's for sure. I did not want.
Did they tell you
what
the sentence was back there?
Yeah, I asked.
Okay.
I asked, and I really wanted to look up over the weekend what the possible consequences were, but we're told we shouldn't, so I didn't.
Right.
He did
Could've
not
been up to a year.
Yeah, that would have been. I think that would have been awful.
So you feel like he never should have been arrested in the first place?
Well, I think
because
it was a judgment call on the part of the police, for sure.
Did you feel it was hasty?
I think you could have let him go.
Did you feel it was hasty on the police's part to just walk up and arrest people without even giving them a warning first?
I felt like I don't know what happened there because they didn't. Yeah, I figured maybe you were. I wasn't there. They didn't describe exactly what happened in that parking lot, but if it was me, and I'm not a police officer, so maybe he probably knows what he's doing better than me, but if I were him, I probably would have said, you guys better get out of here or I'm going to arrest you.
That's usually how they do it. Typically they'll come and they'll say, hey, we don't want to arrest you, so can you take off? And then people leave. And in this case, they just came and swooped us up.
Yeah, no, I'm fully aware that basically the crime here is taking one last lap around that jail. And it seems kind of minor, and they could have let it go. But
did you find it interesting that there were several things that were similar at the old jail that they hadn't messed with?
I hadn't given that much thought because I didn't know anything about the old jail, and it just wasn't discussed much. So anyway, I hope there are no more.
What do you feel about there was no proof on the state side of actually him hearing the order? I know the order might have been given, but there's no proof in the trial that he was actually heard the order. I've been sitting right next to people who have said something, but due to having attention otherwhere, haven't heard somebody say something right next to me.
I think there is a small chance he didn't get the order, but it's just very small. I didn't think I could. It rose to the level of a reasonable doubt.
Reasonable doubt there wasn't?
Well, I mean, there were a couple of people who thought it also at first that there was reasonable doubt there, and I understand their point of view, and there's an argument to be made there, but I thought in the end, man, he was right there. The fact that the way the whole crowd reacted and were leaving, he had to know that an order was given for them to go.
But then for me personally, the next question would be like public property. We're all forced to pay for that property. Therefore, we should be able to use it and peacefully protest anywhere. I mean, this is, the Constitution says you can peacefully assemble to protest anything, anywhere on public property.
I mean, that's another issue. Unfortunately, that really wasn't discussed much during the trial.
Should that have been brought up, do you think?
Well, I'm not a lawyer.
And all that?
I'm not a lawyer, so I can't say. But it really wasn't discussed during the trial, and so I didn't really know. So I just went by.
I just on public property every weekend.
Yeah, and I think they should be able to do that.
Right.
I mean,
the park property and the jail property are the same. They're both public property.
Yeah, but I know you're right. But I mean, there's public property, and all I can go by is I know there's public property in the U.S. that you're just not allowed to just walk onto. You can't just walk onto an Air Force base or something like that.
They put fences up there, right? Like
they do.
Try to keep you out.
We did talk about this. They should have. If they really don't want people walking around there, they should put a fence up.
Right. How can they call it secure if there's no fence or anything like that?
Yeah,
the building's clearly secure. You can't get in.
Exactly.
But the rest, I don't want to hold you up anymore. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Good luck, man.
Thank you, sir.
Too. Thanks for talking with us.
Take care, bud.
Appreciate it.
I know this didn't go the way you guys wanted to,
but
so.
You had an effect, like one person being close is good enough, I mean, that's enough. Next time.
Good to know that you're with us on the marijuana thing.
I didn't say that. This is probably going to end up on the internet. All right, see ya.
Easy.
Bye now.
Is liberty dying where you live? Escape to Keene at freekeene.com.
We'd like to invite you to visit freekeene.com. FreeKeene.com features audio, video, and blogs chronicling the transition to a voluntary society. FreeKeene.com also has comments and discussion forums so you can be heard. FreeKeene.com.
I should be in Keene, New Hampshire with the Free Staters.